I've decided that I think I'm done with buying packs of Pokemon cards. So obviously that sounds like a big deal, and in all honesty, these are just some thoughts that I've had for a while. I've got my binder here, so we'll have that as the visuals for the app. But basically, yeah, I think I'm really done buying Pokemon packs just because it's really hard to get them. And, you know, there are easier ways to go about them, and I almost sort of did a video about that, of like how to get Pokemon cards in the modern day and age, which, you know, that's still a thing, but I'm just not going to buy packs anymore. It really comes down to it is that, you know, yes, there are some big rare stuff, but really what I like to collect, I like the full art trainer cards, the full art supporters, and, you know, some of the full art Pokemon and stuff as well. That's mostly what's in my binder. We'll ignore that last page that we kind of took a peek of. But basically is like, you know, if I'm going to be getting these, why not just buy them as singles? Because, like, we're at the point where packs are about, you know, $7 each at stores if you don't go to Target, and very likely you're not going to find them at Target or Walmart or whatever, so you need to go to local stores, and it's understandable when local stores price the packs for a little more because just everything that's going on, and just to make sure that they're getting back money, and, you know, it's not like too much. I'm fine with, like, sure, $7 a pack, because that's just how it is with almost every TCG, except for Yu-Gi-Oh! Wink wink. But also, you know, let's see. So let's go to the recent sets. So that one's a blank page. So look, these are some of the singles that I got from one of the recent sets. Well, okay, ignore the Lily. I pulled the Lily. So Rosa's Determination, or Rosa's Encouragement. That's it. This card currently is about $5.50 if you buy it online as a single. And, you know, I'm not going to talk about necessarily like the individual sites because you can always find them. There are multiple sites that allow you to buy single cards, but this one here, this is a regular full art, not the secret illustration rare, which I know goes for about like 90, depending on. But this one, right? I just wanted this one because those are the type of supporters that I typically like to collect. And so again, you know, I forget how much each of these were, the Canary and the Anthe and Concordia, but they were definitely like cheap. And even then, like the Rosa was 15 or so when the set first came out. It's dropped down to like $5 now, about $5 give or take. Obviously, you know, the uber rare stuff, right? I know this Lily's Determination. This one's a secret, and I know this is worth a lot. Again, this is one that I pulled from the set, so I know that if this is something that you're looking for, if you're looking for the really rare stuff, then at that point it feels better to buy packs. But then again, you also really need to consider how many packs you're going to get, right? Because if you want like $100 card, if you want to pull the card that's $100 from the set, or at least it's that much on the secondary market, consider how much are you going to need to spend in order to actually pick them up, or in order to actually pull them. You know, we got some other full arts here. These are some of the other supporters recently, and I was at like a little event, or at least where somebody had set up a booth of Pokemon cards and they were selling singles, and the Atticus, I always forget, why do I forget his name, and Airy too, some of the other like individual ones here, those were like $1. And that's the thing, a good amount of like these regular supporters are $1, and you know, it's gonna vary, it's gonna be different, because if you're somebody who, you know, say you like some of the illustration rares of the actual Pokemon, right, then it's those are a lot more. That's just the problem with how cards are. And here I am talking about like, okay, this one I got in a pack that I like from entry from an event that I was at, and it was like, okay, you know, I paid like $5-ish for the event because it was like a single pack battle thing, and I did pull the big Ghastly, and I know that this is like a really expensive card nowadays, so it's like it's just a big problem with like card value. So I think that it also comes down to that. Like me personally, right, it's like, I know this one's really valuable, I know this one's really valuable, but I also got to decide like, do I want to pull it? Do I want to chase it? And so that's the thing. I know opening packs still gives you that thrill and it's still exciting, but me personally, I've just realized it's just not something that I find to be worth it. Just the matter of tracking down packs, or, you know, listening into Discord when my local store is like, hey, we have a restock, we're gonna have this much of each product, and here are the prices, and here are the rules for, you know, the limits for what we're allowing each person to buy. And I'm very glad that my local store operates like that, because it makes it a lot more fair. And just the fact that they just stop selling booster boxes. Every time they get a booster box, they open it up and they sell the individual packs, and then on top of that, it's like 3-4 packs per person depending on the set. So very admirable. They had told me, or at least a lot of people working there, they said basically, we would rather that a lot of people get a few than a few people get a lot. And I think that's a pretty good policy for TCG, just with how things are right now. And again, it's a whole mess, but yeah, that's the thing. And So I'll also consider my local store of buying individual singles too. Is, you know, you can buy singles online or you can buy from your local store. So I'm just gonna, you know, every time I go in, I'm not even gonna ask for any packs. Gonna take a look at the binder and get things there. So yeah, it really does come down to like what each person individually likes to get, and so that's just kind of my reasoning for wanting to just stop packs, because that's how it is. If the cards that I really want of the set are like a $5 card and the pack is $7, right? Why would I bother with getting things randomized? And that's just looking at things very like matter-of-factly. Again, not considering the fact that you can pull like you can pull the uber big really rare card in your pack that technically you spent $5 or, you know, $7 on the pack. But then again, out of a set of how many that you bought, let's say you bought a bunch over the course of things, or maybe you went and bought one Elite Trainer box, which at this point go from like, you know, 60, 70, 80, depending on the set, depending on where you get it from, depending on when you get it, right? So it's just a whole thing of like cost. And you know, I'm somebody who's really kind of had to stop and think of like, okay, how do I determine what is worth it to me? How do I value a lot of things? Because and not necessarily that's saying like, okay, like reselling stuff, because I do try to move some cards along at some points, but again, you know, that's to fund other kind of hobbies, and especially stuff here on the channel, and the main channel as well, especially. So it's just been not a very fun year to be a TCG collector, but you know, here's my collection of just other stuff, and a lot of this is stuff I pulled, and you know, even see like, right, just seeing value too of some stuff that I happen to have that I definitely did not spend you know, the amount of stuff that it's worth now, right? This is a very valuable card now. I did not spend that value on it because I got it back then. So it's just like a crazy thing of all, you know, the shiny cardboard that just happens to be worth a lot or happens to be really rare. And you know, it's really unfortunate too to look at stuff and say like, you know, again, let's go back to Rosa's encouragement, is like, as cool as this card is, as much as I really like this one, the rare version, the really rare version, does look really nice. And so unfortunately I just had to come to terms with the fact that I'll probably never pull it because I'm not buying more packs and I don't want to actively try and pull it. And it's also saddening too because I have the really rare Lily's Determination one and I kind of don't care about it. You know, Lily's cool, but I think I'd rather a different rare card as opposed to this one in that slot, right? And, you know, Meowth, right? I have the full art Meowth. What? That's going to be at the very end? Yeah, I have a full art Meowth here, and this one's really nice. But, of course, the extra rare variant is just much nicer. And that's the one that everybody's after. And it would be nice to have, or it would be nice to pull, and, you know, then maybe trade it for just a bunch of other cards. One really valuable card for a bunch of other lesser valuable cards. So it just behooves me a lot more to take the money that I would spend on a pack. Let's say, you know, how much did I spend on Perfect Order? I don't know. I think I got like 10, I think I got 12 packs in total of Perfect Order, which is a good amount of change. I didn't spend it all at once. I just kind of got it progressively, and then I did sort of a big opening of like, hey, you know, let's open all the packs of Perfect Order. Actually, I think I might have got 9. Let's round it to 10. Let's say 10. Even though some of those did come in a booster bundle, and then some were loose. But let's say I spent $70 on Perfect Order. And when it comes to the cards that I pulled, sure, I did get some bulk commons, but I pulled this one, right? The Mega Starmie, and Mega Starmie is worth like, I don't know, 10. So is this Meowth? Or that Meowth has gone up to 20, so it's like, you know, $30 right there. And I think I got that one, and who knows what else I got. But then, you know, me personally, my value is different because I stream this and I open it on stream that people are watching. Maybe people even super chat. So that's very different in that sense. And so it just really comes down to like, you got to determine. And I personally would advocate for that, of making packs more of a special once in a while thing. Right, normally taking the money that I would spend on a new set, and maybe not spending that whole $70 right up front, but maybe I cut that in half. Maybe once every set, I'll take like 40, 50 bucks maybe, and I'll buy some of the stuff that I want, some of the singles I want. That's a good amount of the supporters that I want. That's a good amount of, you know, some of the illustration rares for the regular stuff that I want, or maybe just the regular EXs, or if I'm trying to build a deck, if I'm getting back into stuff, maybe that works out. Again, that comes at the caveat of like, deciding, yeah, I'm never going to get the big super special stuff, unless maybe I'm just around and I buy a single pack and I get it, and then it makes that pack even more exciting. I will say that Perfect Order, at least, right, a little less of a popular set. I've noticed the last time I was at Target, they had just a bunch of packs. They had a limit of 2 per person, so there's that. But of course, maybe you just turn that into, like, if you happen to be out, if I'm running errands and I'm at Target and I'm getting all my other stuff, I'm buying my you know, groceries there, and I see they have packs of Perfect Order, maybe I'll get 2. Maybe I'll open them that day, maybe I'll stack them in a pile, and then eventually I'll just kind of open them all at once. But if I want any cards just for my collection, then I'll wait things out. And of course, you know, you can always just track the prices of stuff. Don't buy singles when the set first comes out. Wait a while for the price to go down. So there's that. I don't know. That's just kind of my yap, just kind of my thoughts about the current state of the TCG in terms of products and packs and so on, and why I've just kind of really decided I'm just not gonna do that. And you know, I was really into stuff, as you can see, like during Generation 8. I really did like the sets, and well, actually that's Gen 7, but I really did like the sets in Generation 8, and that was a time too. Well, that was before I moved out, so I was not paying rent. So now when I have to pay rent, right, I'm like, well, you know, maybe we can hold off on the shiny cardboard. But I still am really glad that I do have some of the cards that I want, some of the characters that I want, and, you know, we're taking a while to focus here. But, you know, I like Chairman Rose. I think Chairman Rose was cool. Love Clara. Copycat, so fun. Zinnia. Big fan of Zinnia. And, you know, maybe pulled some of these from packs that when I did get, but some of these I did have to buy individually, right? The Clara, I did not pull the Clara because that was from Chilling Reign. Ooh, boy. What a pain. So, you know, get that one online. Those are my thoughts on Pokemon TCG, and you know, like I said, I do have some nice stuff here and there, you know, especially if we're looking at the very beginning. But I'm just going to leave it all up to the draw. At the end of the day, these are JPEGs, and you can either have them printed or you can look at them online, send them as your desktop wallpaper. Who knows? Who cares? So. Yeah, and you know, I think it'll help me out too if I buy single packs or single cards, right? If I stop buying packs, I buy single cards, it'll help me fill in a lot of these spaces, because I've set aside a good chunk of space for other full art supporters. So I think that that's going to be my personal goal. Maybe I'll split this off into a separate binder, and you know, from there, right, we got Gen 8, and then see my Gen 7 collection, not all that much, and then Gen 5 and 6 is just, you know, really not that much. So maybe I'll find some other way to get into my binder and organizing that, because I've seen a lot of different people do things with their binders in terms of, like, you know, theming and collection. And, you know, I'm only looking at the full art supporters here. That's not even to mention all of the very amazing and beautiful, well, this is the trainer gallery, right, that was there for the later end of Generation 8. These are gorgeous, these are beautiful, and even still, I do love that even in the Scarlet Violet era, they're keeping up with some of the illustration rares for Pokemon as well. These are some of the ones that I pulled from my booster box of Scarlet Violet, and so on and so on. But you can see too is that just the amount of cards that I happen to have just dwindles as we go forward, because it just became increasingly more difficult to buy cards, to buy the packs, and, you know, to consistently open them. Even then, this Elgium here, right, this is one that I got as a single. I did not pull this, and even then, this was like an $8 single, I think. Yeah, I believe this was about $8 when I got it. So again, you know, if that's the price of a pack nowadays, why not just get the one you want? That is some beautiful art too. I love that there. So let me know what you think in the comments below about the topic. Let me know how you're dealing with Pokemon TCG at the moment in terms of collecting, in terms of getting cards, or, you know, maybe not getting cards. Because again, you know, we all got to spend our money a little wiser nowadays. But I'll remind you, it is free to subscribe and like and leave a comment to show your support to hopefully maybe reach monetization on the second channel. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, let me know those in the comments as well. But this has been GatorEX, and I will catch you all later.